Oh, really?
Look how dirty this thing is. This is the Team Corally Kronos XTR 2022, and it's the first time I'm showing it here on the channel. And usually when I show you guys a new car, it's nice and clean and pristine, and we go over it, and then I take it out for a drive, and that's sort of what happened. I went and shot all the video already for this thing, and when I took it out for its first drive, I smoked the motor, as you guys just saw. So I've got a new motor in there now, and I kind of have to redo the intro. So that's what this is all about. This is a really cool off-road truggy. It has a ton of Team Corally's option parts on here and makes it a really strong basher truggy. And we're gonna go take it out for some more action. I'm gonna show you guys what I did to this thing so far, and I've got a couple more places in mind to just go wild with this beast. All right, with that said, let's go and roll the footage I've already taken of everything you need to know about this thing, and even some installation of the electronics. All right, so let's go over what we know. The Kronos is an A-scale four-wheel drive brushless basher truck, and it's a fun truck, like I said, in ready-to-run form. But this is the Extreme Pro chassis, which means it comes with a lot of the option parts that you would have to buy separately for the ready-to-run. And with the 2022 version, they gave us even more. They bulked up this truck, they made it stronger, so you could go and bash it even more to the extreme. What we do here on this channel is probably go more on the big side. For what I have available to me, that's what we're gonna do with this thing. Even the skate parks around here are a little small, but I'm gonna do my best to give this thing a real workout. But let's get into the details here. The Kronos XTR comes with the orange painted body that you see. It's the swoopy truggy style. The decals actually aren't applied. I went and applied those just so it looks cooler when I present it to you guys. But overall body looks pretty neat. We've talked about that before on the ready to run. Has your tethers and body clips. Now let's check out the chassis. So this is a 7075 aluminum plate chassis under this beast. We've got a carbon fiber reinforced plate and all of the aluminum braces that they have to offer for the center section. And then on top of it, they of course have their two braces up top to really stiffen this thing up. Now just be aware that this is a hollow tube, and if you do go wild with it, those hollow tubes can bend. Just be aware of that. I'm just trying to tell you guys everything. What is pretty cool is they do have a GNSS mount right here, so if you have one of those, you're doing speed runs, you could drop that in. And then they have this little switch mount thing going on over here, which I'm not going to use because I'm dropping a castle creation system in there. Now, other things that they've done to the 2022 version is they've bulked up some of the suspension here. So now we have the HD steering blocks. This was a bit of an issue, and I even broke these on my Punisher on the original versions, but these are stronger versions, a lot more webbing around the ball area so it won't pull out. They have their strong arms on here, and then we've got a 7075 shock tower up front and in the rear as well. The arms are also the stronger plastics that we've seen Corally putting on their cars. They also have stronger hinge pin plates as well, the 7075 aluminum hinge plates in there. So again, all this stuff is getting bulked up for the extreme use of this truggy. I like that they got an aluminum upper pivot mount here. We've got an aluminum front brace plate, and then again there are those aluminum center chassis braces as well. Multiple mounting points to keep this thing strong. Now let's see the drivetrain on here, bulked up as well. The aluminum center diff cup, because the center diff can really get hot if you've got a wild brushless system in there and are constantly ripping on the throttle. We do have the new spring steel out drives all over the place on here. They redid the center drive shafts, so those hold up as well. They want you to go wild with it, and that reminds me of the shock updates as well. So they've got new shock ends on here, thicker pistons as well, and they have firmer springs. So when you're landing off those big air jumps, you've got the proper spring, you've got a piston that won't deflect as it's going through the oil, and then you won't have a shock end that rips out. Another neat change, or I think it's a change, they do have a double plate on the steering here. So they've got the lower Ackerman bar and then a upper plate, so that stays nice and strong. And the rest of it is much like what we've seen before on the Kronos. We've got the these really cool knobby tires. Definitely love the look of those. They just look like they're gonna shred. The black wheels, 17mm hexes. And now let's talk about electronics, because you have to supply those. Because this is an extreme chassis, it's got all the options on there. They allow you to go and drop in the electronics that you want to. And I have everything back here. Just really quick, the Kronos box art. If you're looking for the 2022 version, you got to look for this yellow label here at your local hobby shop, or if you're ordering it online. In the box, they give you a manual that shows you how to work on the car, some body clips, a pinion gear as well. Definitely wanted to mention that. Some extra tethers, and there is the rest of the decal sheet. Like I said, I already put the decals on. But here is the power package for our test rig. Now, I've got a Futaba 4PK radio system. I've got a high-tech servo with, I think this thing's got 409 inches of torque on 6 volt. It's the D951TW, metal case on there, 25/2 spline on it, metal gears, high torque, all the good stuff. We're going with an SMC battery pack to power this thing. 8,000 milliamp, look at that thing, 22.2 volts. That thing is a sick battery. And then I went with Castle Creations for our brushless system. We've got the Mamba Monster X, and then a 2200 kV motor. And it's not your craziest motor you could get from them. The 2200 is gonna give me some really usable power, and I do like to have full control over my vehicles when driving them, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So why don't I show you a quick run through of dropping in the electronics before we take it out for a run. Guys, time to get a little airtime in with the XTR. This thing has been a blast so far for the little that I drove it. Now I got a tamer motor in there, and just gonna enjoy the drive with this thing. All right, enough of these little whoops. Let's go get a little bit more air off of this double. All right, here we go. Ooh, I could already tell we're gonna need a little bit heavier of an oil. The basic setup, probably okay for just running around a track. Nice skip off of that jump, air it out. Nice, yeah, definitely set up for a track, but for some big air, yeah, we're gonna need some more weight in the shock oil here. Backflip, nice. Oh, all right, let's switch it up. All right, we'll get some big air off of this thing here. Nice. Getting a little slap. Oh, ow, ow. Oh. That was a hard hit. We're still good. All right, let's try that again. A little easier, there we go. Definitely need a heavier diff oil too in the center. But it flies well, like it. All right, now for the big waterfall jump here. Oh, that was butter. That was butter. Let's go. Yeah. Ooh. It's taking some hits.
I do like the handling when you land the jumps. See that? All right, let's launch in this direction here. Oh, hard hit. Yeah, I mean, this thing is good. We just need to do a little tuning. Nice. Spin this thing around. It drives good. Big jump. Oh, big hit, but good. All right, let's go off the big berm. Oh, backflip first. Nice. Had to get a backflip in. All right, this is my favorite spot to launch trucks off of now. Yeah, look at the air. Perfect. Good God. Big hit at the end, but that thing just sailed. All right, ready? Let's do this again. Thread the needle. Little break. Boom. That is sick. All right, last one. Let's go for the backflip off of this one. Ready? Yeah, awesome. You know what? I think I gotta go for a double backflip. Here we go. I think we can pull off a double. Spin it around. Thread the needle. Full throttle, double backflip. More than double. Oh. All right. That was more than 3, I think. Look, still good, still driving. Just knocked the ESC out. I'm gonna fix that, and then we'll head to the Basher field. Check it out, guys. I'm at the Basher lot. I've got 3 more months to use this place before it switches hands, and I am gonna give the Kronos a workout. I've already been driving it. It's really windy today. Hopefully the audio isn't all broken up, but we're gonna make the best of it. This thing has got a lot of power. I chose a lot of power with this Castle system. Even with the lower KV motor, still got a ton of rip, and I even put a little bit of a throttle curve in there, but still, look at it. It just pulls those front wheels up in the air. We need a little bit heavier diff oil in the center. I said that before, but I could definitely feel this thing handles like a racing truggy almost. And I mean, that's cool in one respect, but for those guys that are just going flat out with this thing, ripping it off the big jumps, you're gonna have to do a little tuning. I mentioned that before, but watch this thing rip. It handles really well through this rough stuff. And to me, this is extreme bashing for me, because this lot is not forgiving. You guys know that. I've been driving cars here for years. This truggy has been hitting rocks, going through these bumps. Oh, bucked it up over there. And it's just getting totally thrashed. Look at that, just throttling through there. Nice. Easy on the brakes. It kind of cleared this up over here, so now maybe I could go off this berm, use it as a jump. Yeah, nice air. Of course, I threw all the rocks over there in that one spot, and that's where I drive through. Nice, Greg. All right, let's do that again. Get a little bit more rip out of it this time. Look at that, it's handling through that rough really good. Air time, nice. Come back through here. Get a little air off this way. There we go. Spin it around, we'll get a little more air. Here we go, yeah! Awesome. Let's go over this spot here. Let's go over this jump, because this is wicked to hit at full throttle. And you know what? I'm gonna come right at me, watch this. Look at that thing. Coming right at me. And that wasn't even full throttle. This thing's got way more. Look at how it's handling the rough though. That's so good. On it, on it, on it. Oh man, it's really dipping out through there. It's pulling every which direction. But look at that thing. Oh, love it. Love dirt roosts off of this thing. Those gnarly tires just shred the dirt. Look at this. Yeah, that was full. That was full. Let's rip it again. Oh man, the neighbors got to be ticked with all that dust flying through the air. I think I could just sit in this spot all day. Oh, ow, oh. You can just sit in this spot all day and just rip through this berm. I don't know what it is. Catch that traction. Yeah. Oh. Man, this thing corrects pretty good. All right, one more time through here. Oh, and the battery is done. All right, let's head back to the workshop.
So smoking the motor on the very first run of testing the Kronos XTR really threw me off in getting this truggy tested for you guys, but once I got the new motor in there, I just went out and started thrashing this thing. I had so much fun driving it. I love driving the ready to run, and this thing is awesome as well. It put up with a ton of abuse, and that's kind of what got me in trouble on the very first run. Was I was in a new location on a big grass field where there was these rolling hills, and we were just jumping this thing off of it, and I had the 8,000 milliamp battery pack in there, 2200 kV motor at the time, no cooling fan, and I was just having so much fun that I didn't mentally stop and say, hey, I got to go check the temperatures on this because I'm running in grass, and I wound up smoking the motor on it. So that was totally my fault, not Castle's fault, not the truck's fault. That's just something maybe I should throw out to you guys, is be aware of your temperatures when you're running your stuff, especially for the very first time. But I wound up throwing a 1650 kV motor in there, still plenty of power, so much so that it does rip the front wheels off the ground. Even I threw a throttle curve in there and it was still pulling the front wheels up. So either I might go try some belted tires or actually go and firm up the center diff oil, as I was mentioning during the driving portions of the video. But this thing handles really well, and for the baseline setup that's in there, you know, I think it's going to handle certain conditions really well. Actually, if you're running on a 4S, it's probably going to be dialed right in. But if you're running on 6S, you know, if you're landing on landers, you're probably going to have a smooth transition. But if you're landing on flats like I was, you're definitely going to have to go and firm up the shock oils as well. And that's just something that we know. I mean, we know that these guys put baseline setups in there, and if you're buying an extreme vehicle, you're apt to tune your vehicle to the way you drive it for your particular conditions. So it's understandable. Team Corally has a line of oils. I've already got them out behind me because I'm going to do a little bit of suspension tuning to my truggy before I go out next. But the truggy handles really, really good. It's very controllable. The steering, there's a little problem with the steering in my opinion. I think the servo saver is a bit too soft. I'd like to see a firmer spring in there, and I actually took the steering assembly apart and cranked down on the adjuster nut a little bit, and I still felt it was a little too soft for my particular driving style. And that actually leads me to something else. There's a lot of parts in the front of this car, so when I took it apart, there's a lot of stuff to put it back together. A lot of bracing up front, which, you know, that's what we want out of a extreme basher vehicle, but it is very time consuming to deal with on the bench. Just something to throw out at you, you know, but part of enjoying the hobby is taking your car apart and maintaining it and tuning it, and just enjoying everything it has to offer. But other things to throw out at you guys, I felt the truggy was really strong. I mean, I put it through a lot. I was launching it off some really big jumps, landing nose down, landing on the rear, and when I went off the berm at the BMX track, that was a huge hit. It was right on the rear of the truggy, and I could have swore that would probably have bent the chassis in the back. And I threw a ruler on the chassis, and the rear of the chassis is totally fine. After all the hits I had on the rear, the ruler is perfectly flat. Up front, there is a little bit of wiggle in the ruler, so it's maybe bent a little bit, and actually I could see the outdrive, the center diff outdrive has touched the servo saver tray, so I know there's a little flex up there. I'm not going to change the chassis. I've got a lot of vehicles around here with a slightly bent chassis. It's totally fine. I'm pretty impressed with what it put up with. The only thing I was able to really break on this truggy was the wing assembly, multiple pieces in the wings. So I cracked the wing itself, the little retainer plate on top. I went through 2 of those because the wing just rips right through it, and I actually ripped the mounts off of the main mount, the 2 little side mounts that attaches the wing, pull right through. And what I did to fix that is I just dropped the wing down. They have optional holes, and I haven't broken it since. And my fix for you would be add some washers behind the 4 screws that hold those mounts on. But other than that, this thing seems to be a beast. Team Corally keeps refining their cars to what we want, and this is a really great option for an extreme basher truggy. I really had a great time with it. Team Corally, you gotta watch out for these guys because they are making some really good moves, and their fan base keeps on growing. All right, let me know what you think about the Team Corally Kronos XTR in the comment section below. Links down below. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.